So let's, before we get too excited about EU and doing its things, let's start where we should start, and let's go through our DXY position. Okay, so let's have a quick look and just kind of work out what's going on. So we've obviously taken out lots of liquidity. I'm not even going to bother marking these liquidities on. I'm just going to clear this chart up. Let's get rid of that, and I'm going to leave that one on because that is quite a significant one. Okay, and let's mark that down as our daily, dead daily. Okay, cool. So obviously yesterday we had a pretty big bullish move. So previous day is bullish, and it's pretty, firm what the where the momentum is right now, right? So there's no point in arguing with that. We are bullish. We've been bullish for a while. Very clearly the Trump win was already priced in because we had that move that started at when was it? The move started at midnight, and obviously the announcement wasn't until kind of, 10 a.m., 11 a.m. So it's pretty clear from the early outset. So that's cool. You've got to understand that with these big economic driving factors, the big fundamentals, that they are typically priced in, which is why normally you'll have a bigger move before the actual news event themselves. So it's just something to factor in when you're doing your analysis. Now, we've obviously had a deep pullback. We were talking in the chat about why this level and why this level was not a level that I was considering. Well, there's a couple of reasons. Firstly, in order for a liquidity point to be particularly valid for us, we need it to create some sort of structure. Okay, that shows that there is enough money in that move. There is enough money in that move to push the market past a point of liquidity itself. Okay, so that is the first way that we validate a structure or a liquidity point. The second way that we validate those liquidity points is the time of day that they're created. Now, a high that's created at kind of 6:30, 7 p.m. when London is closed, bear in mind that London is the biggest exchange across the planet. Okay, I know we're pretty small in comparison to everything else, but more trading happens in London than at any other time of the day. You've got to then factor in that it means that if these highs and lows are being created outside of London, there's going to be less volume in them. There's going to be less liquidity, less cash, less institutional input. So it might look like the best high or low, but based upon the time of the day, I mean, you're looking at 2 o'clock in New York. So New York is starting to wind down for the day and London is fully closed. So not only did it not create a new structure itself, but also it is an internal liquidity point created outside of a key session. The liquidity points that we like, the liquidity points that we want to see manipulated are session highs and session lows. So this one, for example, here, which is the high of London on the DXY, obviously caused a good reaction and it pulled back down. So that would have been a good sell-off for New York yesterday. This level here, of course, not only has it created a new high, but it also was created as the low of London that day. So, it's a significant area where there's going to be volumes of liquidity that we want to see manipulated. Now, we have technically just tagged it, so we could actually look for an entry now. Let's see what Euro USD is up to. So Euro USD has taken a new high. GU's failed to make a new high. Okay, good. So I think we've got an entry here. Let's just have a quick look. I would kind of quite like a bit of a pullback and a manipulation first. Just wait for the MSU to play out. The only thing that I'm slightly hesitant about is just structure. Okay, because the structure right now is technically bullish. Okay, we've got bullish structure. I prefer this low to be broken before we can get into a trade. That being said, GU is making some good moves. It's creating some structure. It's had an MSU, so technically we've got an MSU2 on GU right now. I'm not taking it. I've stopped trading GU just out of principle, just because of the way it moves. But that would be effectively how I would take it. It's a higher risk entry because we're so high up. I prefer to take that than that, if I'm honest. So that would be my entry if I was trading GU. Euro USD, I just need a little bit of confirmation. But DXY, we have had a sweep. Let's double check it on all time frames. Yeah, we have had a sweep. So the low of London yesterday has been swept and we're now creating bullish structure. Very, very similar story though on DXY, that we are currently in bearish structure. The only thing that gives us a bit of faith is we've got this divergence now. We've got this failure to make a new low where we've got EU creating a new high. So that gives us divergence that we can trade off. It's also off one of those key liquidity points, and you can see it's congregating around this monthly level. These monthly levels are quite good areas for kind of support and resistance, if you can call it that. It's not something I trade particularly, but I don't like support and resistance, for those of you who know me. However, the monthly levels tend to be quite sensitive to price. It's not something that I would trade off, but it's just something that I often notice can hold price in one position and cause some sort of reaction point. So let's see where we get to. Ideally with EU, we would push up and we would take out this level. Of course, that would be great, and we might get that still, because then we've got an Asia low down here, okay, which can also give us a reaction. So I'm not rushing into anything just yet. We do technically have a setup. It looks much better on the DXY, but again, we are quite high up. We've got loads of imbalance below. Is today a profit taking day where all of the positions that were long on the dollar now, people are just taking profit off? We've also had on the 15-minute, we've had no, we haven't had a shift in structure yet technically. So this could be a good position. I just want a little bit more confirmation. These are the sorts of trades that you can rush into, and 3 or 4 times they might play out, but 5 or 6 times they don't. And the problem with that is, that's where you lose your money, unfortunately. So it's not perfect. I'm not looking at thinking I need to jump into this trade, and therefore I'm not going to be jumping into this trade. So let's just wait and see. I always think in these moments when you're not 100% sure on a position, give it half an hour or so and see what it looks like in half an hour. If we had that sort of setup, then we could get into a much better position. So let's just wait and see what happens there, really. Yeah, just realised I've not recorded any of this, which means, unfortunately, no daily analysis video. I'll have to watch back the live. I'm going to set an alert just above that high. I'm going to set an alert down here as well. Technically have got, no, not quite yet. It's a hidden MSU, but it's all just a bit mucky. And you see how the reaction to there isn't particularly good? Got quite a few candles up there as well. Just doesn't spring out to me to be like sell, sell, sell. That may change, of course. GU looks much better. It's a shame we're not trading it anymore, because GU looks much better. But GU can do this sometimes, and it will look like it's giving you the best setup, and then it will just come back up and sweep your high like we had last week. So I prefer to trade the euro just because I've got the DXY confluence to go alongside it. We've got external liquidity up here as well of this 15-minute range. This is the 15-minute range that we're in. We've got external liquidity up here as well, which of course would be a good level to be taken. There's just not enough movement on this for me yet. You see how it's just like struggling. The fact that it's struggling as well often gives me the heebie-jeebies about a trade. Let's see what happens. Is anyone in anything at the moment?
No.
No.
Same thoughts in it, like looking like a good sell location, but it's kind of bullish into it.
Yeah, right.
Nothing happening for me right now.
If you were to take out everything to the left, you'd be buying this right now, wouldn't you?
Yeah, that's what I was initially looking for, really.
Were you?
If that London Open push down.
Yeah. Do you know what? If you'd had a sweep of this level down here.
Yeah.
If you had a sweep of that, you'd have probably had quite a nice buy position out of there.
And then I at least got room to buy it up and get a break-even trade if it is going to go bearish, right?
Yeah.
But when London opened and pushed high, I was just like, oh, see what happens.
If we look at the liquidity as well, we need some sort of confirmation of going bearish. It's the liquidity point, as we always say, the liquidity point itself is not enough. That's why we have the MSU. But what the MSU itself should be doing is it should be taking and creating new structure. So the MSU, like here, for example, if this pattern had done this,
Yep.
okay. So if that pattern had done that, okay, and created a new structure, then that would have been a great trade, because then you can see that there's clear momentum in that move. The fact that it hasn't just indicates that, you know, we're not quite ready yet to go short. And you know,
Would you say we have 15-minute bullish EPA as well, where it breaks above your red liquidity level and then
yeah,
pulls back in?
technically, yeah, you are right.
That will take internal to the bearish as well, right?
Yeah. And you're absolutely right. You know, although we are in a bearish 15-minute leg, our internal 15-minute momentum is bullish now. So that break here and that close above indicates that now technically on the 15-minute time frame we're in bullish structure. So it does actually make sense for price to come and reach up to this external level, and then possibly at the same time the DXY can come and take out this liquidity, because you know it might just use this as initial fuel. Well, it's reacted to that and it's not reacted to it well enough. So that indicates that this level of liquidity is pretty weak. We've got the monthly level below there, and we've got more liquidity down here. But also, as well, the other thing that we have to factor in is that we've got this massive gap. You know, we may, you know, think about it this way, and you've got to kind of think outside the box a lot of the time with trading. So, Trump's got in, okay. It's been really positive for the dollar, okay. So, what's everyone going to be doing right now? They're going to be buying, right? They're going to be buying because they've seen this big move. They've seen the momentum push really high. If we open up let's have a look. Euro USD sentiment chart. Let's have a look what it is. Yeah, 77% of traders now are long. Let's have a look on Forex client. 63% of traders are long. Look at on IG. 64% of traders are long. So you know when you factor in where everyone is right now, you know potentially it's a tricky one, isn't it? It's a tricky one. Everyone's trying to long this market right now, which indicates that you know we're probably still going to be going short. Ultimately, we're probably still going to be going short, but it's just where we're going short from. Everyone's trying to buy back up now. Everyone's trying to sell back down, so we may have an initial push down to here, and then ultimately we're going to get a buy. For me as a momentum-based trader, my momentum is bearish, so we just wait for bearish momentum. So it's simple as that. And right now we haven't quite got that bearish momentum, but I think we're going to get it. GU, yeah, about to pull back up. If we look at GU and what GU's doing right now, just take out some of this noise, get rid of that. You know, we've got liquidity up here in the form of this structure. So we've got liquidity up there in the form of that order block. And so it makes sense for GU to do something like this. Either take the high, and you know this will be a 4-hour range, as you can see. Not quite even a 4-hour range because it's just swept the liquidity. But in terms of where we are overall, let's have a quick look. So bearish range, swept the liquidity, created a new bearish. I mean, technically that is a new bearish range. So let's just use that because it's such a momentum fueled leg. Let's just use that section there. So if we look at the structure on GU, okay, so this itself on its own is weak right now because it hasn't got the liquidity grade. We talk about the liquidity grading, right? It's just literally an order block stood out on its own. Not even a strong order block because it's just like a pause in price. So what I would expect to happen is we'd have some sort of structure, then you'd have that, let me just zoom in a little bit, some sort of structure, okay, then you'd have that really weak push away, which falls, here, then you have that weak push away, which tricks early sellers in, and then you get the sweep, and then you get that MSU set up, and then obviously we can sell down from there. So that's what I'd be expectably affecting on this if we're going to sell from that order block. That would give our liquidity grading, there'll be some imbalance in there, that will give our resting liquidity, that will give us our structure. Failing that, it's just going to take the liquidity above and then we can sell off from there. Okay, and then of course we've also got this. We've also got this. Okay, because we could also just push up and take the external liquidity of the range. So, you know, we're in areas where, you know, price should hopefully continue. It is Thursday after all. Hang on a minute. What have we got tonight? Have we got news tonight? Is it FOMC? Or was that? No. Yeah, it is FOMC tonight as well. So we might just do nothing today. We might just meander and just muck about and not really do anything at all. So we've got 12 p.m. Right, we've got big news on the pound today. So the pound is definitely off. So we've got monetary policy. And we've got Bailey speaking. Okay, yeah, so we've got loads of news on the pound. So the pound dollar is off for a start. We've got unemployment on USD. And we got FOMC. So we might just find that nothing really happens today. Certainly not a day to be jumping into trades, that's for sure. That's for sure.
There's the federal interest rate decision tonight as well at 7 o'clock on the US.
Yeah, so basically, massive news day after an election. I think, guys, unfortunately, this is just a boring week. And sometimes this just happens, right? You know, we've been very lucky, we've been very blessed with the way that we trade, guys, that often we're getting ourselves into positions quite regularly. You know, Chris, you've been smashing at the moment. I've been finding at least a trade a day at the moment. So we've been, you know, very, very lucky recently. So, yeah, it's one of them. It's one of them. I'm absolutely not in a rush to start jumping into a trade where we are right now. Let's see if we can take out maybe one of these external levels. We can see that the dollar's just continually pushing down. If I was taking a trade right now, I would be selling ultimately, and I would be buying. I'll be taking a trade like this. I'm not taking it, obviously, and I'll be buying up to that external level. That's kind of my target. That's where I would expect price to go right now. Okay. Germany 40, doing its thing, pushing up higher, coming into an area of resistance up here, taking out that daily. So if we do get a rejection from here, potentially we've got a trade incoming. We are relatively bearish right now. But as with a lot of indices, we do like generally to go bullish. So I'm always waiting for a bullish trend change on indices. So not the best structure again. I think Sam caught position out of this morning. We had obviously a sweep of liquidity, took out daily and weekly level, then had bullish structure to come in, and Sam took a buy out of here, lovely position, got himself 3R out, and rest is history. Asia took out internal liquidity, created bullish structure, MSU setup, lovely little buy that was. Where a lot of people would be selling this because of the Asia sweep. You look at the bigger picture, we've taken out higher time frame liquidity, taken out the liquidity of London there, and you've created then bullish structures coming into the marketplace. The market looks bullish, it's in discount pricing, makes sense for the price, makes sense for the trade to move up, and you know, nice trade out of there. 3R, be lovely. So yeah, another boring day, guys, unfortunately. We'll keep an eye on this EU setup to see if we get anything, but with so much news today, it might just be a case of we have to wait out today as well. But I'm certainly not gonna rush in anything that's riskier today. Let's see what the rest of the morning gives us. I'll keep everyone updated in the chat and we'll go from there. All right.